Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today we're going to talk about something special. Can you smell it? The off season. It's here. The games are a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. There's just something special about the off season, about team structure, about the draft, about OTAs and practice, about preparation, about building your team for September and on. There's just something special. I don't know. Maybe it's the Madden child in me because the one of my most favorite things about Madden is just building an elite team through draft, trades, player development, thinking, look at that. I built my team as a 96 overall. I am so happy about myself. I don't know, maybe I have a GM at heart. I don't know what it is, but I just love the
I
offseason.
think this is me, Andrew, but maybe you feel differently. But it's fun in Madden or like the NCAA game to be like playing the game and win. But
Hmm.
like when you go out in the off season, I feel like there's just more sense of like I did that. I traded for that star player. I found those
Yeah.
draft picks. I kept the
Hmm.
players on my team. I re-signed them to new contracts. Like I don't think you
I
can
could see
take as
that.
much ownership for the season because you're like, oh, I'm not AJ Brown. I'm not the guy that's like running down the field making this amazing catch.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I can see that, but the offseason is here and I'm just super excited. Lots of speculation going on, and there's a lot of speculation going on out there that just way insanely wrong. First thing I wanted to touch on is this whole speculation about the quarterback position for the Vikings. Like, there's all this, are they going to trade for Mac Jones? First of all, no. Second of all, the 49ers have already said they are not trading Mac Jones. The only way that the 49ers are parting ways with Mac Jones if they get offered like a first round pick, which we are not doing that. I mean, bad word, no. We are not trading a first
bad,
round pick
bad
for Mac
word.
Jones.
No. That might become the new catchphrase here on this podcast,
We
Andrew.
should we should totally do that. Instead of like bleat no or but bad word no. And I don't even want to trade a second round pick for Mac Jones. I don't want to trade a third round pick for Mac Jones because Mac Jones, if he is on the Vikings next year, we had to trade draft capital and we have to re-sign him. So he's basically the just given the keys to the car starter because there's no other way. You're not going to trade a third round pick and re-sign someone to be your backup. That is just insanely stupid. So if Mac Jones was a Viking, he's the starter, and we're gonna win 10 games again and be out in the playoffs first round because Mac Jones has a ceiling. He's a fine quarterback, really good backup, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl with him starting. Well, I'll say this: in the Kevin O'Connell scheme, he won't. If he was on the Seahawks in that scheme with that team around him, it's possible. I don't think Mac Jones and Sam Darnold are like widely different. Sam Darnold's a better quarterback than Mac Jones, obviously, but it's not by a
Is Sam Darnold a
mile.
better quarterback than Mac Jones? I mean,
I
I
want to say
really,
yes, because he has the one thing that Sam Darnold has, and it's elite, is his deep ball. His deep ball is amazing. It's crisp, it's clean, it's accurate. He's got a crazy strong arm. But as far as everything else, decision making, athleticism, they're pretty close to the same. Pretty close. But I'll give the edge to Sam Darnold. I would.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm having a tough time with that question because Mac Jones's first season with the Patriots, and I'd say that's the only season that the Patriots were good. He had 22 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. He had 3,800 yards passing. It did dip in year two. It went to just under 3,000, 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Hmm.
Personally, I have a tough time counting the year after that because 2023 Patriots were just a hot dumpster fire. But there was 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But then I'm going to fast forward to 2025 with the 49ers. I mean, 2,100 your passing yards, 69.5% completion rating, 13 touchdowns, six interceptions. And that supporting cast was not nearly as good in San Francisco as it was in Seattle this
A
year.
lot of injuries, yeah. But I would also say that the Kyle Shanahan scheme can make a lot of
That is such a
quarterbacks
fair
look really
point. That
good.
is such a fair point.
I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo went to a Super Bowl with the Kyle Shanahan scheme. So, I mean, there's a lot of
That's fair.
expatriates quarterbacks that played for Kyle Shanahan and looked good. Um, but yeah, I would still give the edge to Sam Darnold on that. But there's this narrative that who are the Vikings going to trade for? Who's going to be their start? There's not a decision to be made. They're going to pick up a free agent or pick up someone to be in the room because right now all they have is JJ McCarthy and Max Brosmer, and that is not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. But JJ McCarthy is going to be the starter next year, outside of some insane trade for like a Joe Burrow, which isn't happening, by the way. He is not moving from that team. People can quiet that narrative. Um, but this whole thing about should they trade for Kyler Murray? No, because he has a high contract. That's going to be a second or third round pick, and again, he'll get us the 10 wins, and that's it. He has a ceiling. Some of these guys, we know what they are. We know what they can bring, and they don't fit into what Minnesota needs. And there's like, should they get Tua? No, we should not go after Tua. So here are the two stats that I teased in the last episode. So everyone's focusing on how bad JJ McCarthy was, which there were some moments where he was bad. There were some games where he was bad. I am not discrediting any of that, but no one wants to look at the full story of JJ McCarthy and some of the things that happened. So there's two stats that was researched and shared that I thought were, oh wow, that's that's pretty interesting. So there's this analytic called big time throw percentage. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, but basically
Is this real? This
it
sounds
is.
so.
No,
This sounds like a
it's
dude stat.
no, it's real. It's on PFF. You can even look it up. It's big time throw percentage. So
Oh
basically,
my
it's like
gosh.
3rd and 9 or a tight window or like a big moment in the game. Those kinds of things where your quarterback has to make the play. Not that it's schemed up and it's something wide open, but the quarterback makes the play. And history shows, like throughout the past 20 years, the top leaders of that clubhouse are these like Hall of Fame MVP Super Bowl caliber type quarterbacks. I mean, there's like the Matthew Staffords, the Peyton Mannings are on that, the Patrick Mahomes are on that, the Joe Burrows. The top of the top are on that list. And I'm not saying that JJ McCarthy is the top of the top quarterback class in this anything right now, but what he has is no fear, and he has the ability and the belief in himself to have this stat. He was number 2, I believe it was, out of every quarterback in the league as far as big time throw percentage. I forget who was number 1. It might be Stafford actually, but he was number 2. No one's really thinking about that because that stat's kind of not everyone really knows about it much, but big time throw percentage is a thing. And we went through Kirk Cousins checking down on 4th and 12 in the playoff game against the Giants. Checking down a 3-yard pass to Hawkinson, who is, it's not like Hawkinson was in the middle of the field and hopefully he could break a tackle. He was on the sideline. And you throw a pass check down on the sideline where you have no chance of gaining another 9 yards. JJ McCarthy is not doing that. JJ McCarthy's trying to get that first down, trying to win. Now, with that, he makes a lot of bad throws, a lot of mistakes, but he will learn from that. He has that dog in him, that heart of wanting to make the play. So that's the first stat I wanted to share is he's like number 2 in big time throw percentage. The other one, which I think is even crazier and even better, is in the red zone. In the red zone, JJ McCarthy was the 4th best quarterback in the whole league. 4th. He had a in the Vikings had a 66% touchdown rate when JJ McCarthy was the starter in the red zone. And he had no turnovers. He had like I think a total of 9 touchdowns, no turnovers. I think he had like 6 passing and 3 rushing. In the red zone when you needed the most, he was making that play, and that's what we didn't have last year with a Sam Darnold. That's where Sam Darnold struggles is the red zone. Now, in between the 20s, McCarthy needs a lot of improvement, but in those key categories of 3rd down, you need a play. McCarthy is second in big time throw percentage, and in the red zone, when you need to not turn the ball over and get points, the Vikings had a 66% touchdown ratio with McCarthy in the red zone, and he didn't have a single turnover. He is really good in the red zone and really good when the moment shines brightest on 3rd and long or when he has to make a play. So I wanted to share those two stats because everyone's focusing on the turnovers, which is a big thing. He needs to fix that. Everyone's focusing on the sacks. It's a big thing. He needs to fix that. And everyone's also focusing on the nine thing and the meme that he has and all this stuff, which he's doing that to himself. The one negative that I will say that is very true is his health. He did get hurt a lot last year. That is a big deal. That is why we need a legit backup. And what is going to happen? It's almost like it was written. It's almost like it was scripted from the script writers.
Oh, don't even say it. You're gonna say it.
I I'm going to
Don't
say
do
it
this.
because
Don't do this, Andrew.
because it's just
Don't.
happening.
No.
The
No.
the
Andrew,
tea leaves are
no.
just
Stop it.
falling the
We're
perfect way for this to happen. So
don't
listen,
do
before I say
this.
the name, you know the name I'm going to share. Before I say the
Yes.
name, what does the quarterback room for Minnesota need? They need a veteran that can step in, win some games if asked, but that is not going to be forced to take over for JJ McCarthy. For example, if they went and got an Aaron Rodgers, which they're not going to, again, bad word, no. Um, but if that were the case, Aaron Rodgers is the starter. He is not going to be the backup. If they went and got a veteran like a Tua or like a Kyler Murray or a Mac Jones, those guys are going to be the starter. And then JJ McCarthy is going to be back to square one and not be developed. And we wasted a 10th overall pick. But if we went and got someone who knows the system pretty well, who has won with KOC and can step in if most likely McCarthy gets hurt again. Hopefully he doesn't, but the track record shows he's going to get hurt again. And you need someone to step in and win games. Who is about to be cut by their team and be a free agent? Kirk Cousins. It just, like I said, it's just like it's written in the sand and it's going to happen. It just makes too much sense. And especially because when it gets cut, there's offset language where I believe the Falcons still owe him $10 million. So you can sign him for like the vet minimum, almost like the Russell Wilson thing. It's very similar to that. It just makes too much sense. The Vikings are strapped with cash right now. There's a lot they have to do, which I'll get into that. And we're not going to trade draft capital for these silly, fine quarterbacks. That's not going to get you anywhere. We just need someone that could step in a moment's notice. If McCarthy gets hurt, give McCarthy one more year. If he doesn't play well this year, then I'm out because this is 3 years in his rookie contract. He's had 2 years starting. If he hasn't shown improvement that he could do this, let's go back to the drawing board. The 2027 draft class is going to be filled with quarterbacks. I mean, I was listening to a guy I like to listen to. His name is Thor Nystrom, and he's really big into the draft. He's like a draft expert kind of guy. And he like listed off like 5 names that could be in the first round, and that's probably the minimum. And I'm so give McCarthy this year, 2026, which I believe he's going to do better. I believe he's going to do really well and improve, and he's going to show that he's the guy. But let's say he's not. Let's say he struggles again. All right, go back to the drawing board, draft a quarterback in the 2027 class. But there's no reason to cut ties right now when he has 10 NFL starts under his belt. Can't do that. But yeah, it just makes too much sense to bring back Kirk Cousins on like a $4 or $5 million deal because he's getting 10 million from the Falcons. Have him be the backup. Have him kind of mentor JJ a little bit because what is Kirk known for? Being low key, not really getting himself into trouble in the media. It's kind of what McCarthy needs at this moment is kind of maybe settle down a little bit with the crazy emotion and memes and all this stuff, calling himself nine. He needs to chill a little bit on that. And Kirk Cousins can help with that. And Kirk Cousins can help with him learning the system better because no one knows it better than Kirk Cousins. So it just makes too much sense. Like I said, it was almost like it was scripted.
Maybe, Andrew. I don't know, man. Mm, I can understand why you talk yourself into it. I see what you're saying. I'm not a fan in revisiting old things that did not end on the best note. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it did end on the best note. It's just he got an insane deal from the Falcons that you're not going to pass up.
If I was a Vikings fan, I would be mad at Kirk Cousins still.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
Talk
I
about
would
that fourth down check
absolutely.
down.
Uh, the fourth down, check down, sure. I just mean the finances alone.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I, I
Yeah.
I will stand by this. When you make as much money as Kirk Cousins did, you did not need to take
Mm-hmm.
that money from the Falcons. It just
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Sure.
just I'm
Yeah.
tired of hearing about life-changing money. If you've made over $100 million in your career, there's no such thing as life-changing money anymore. You've
Mm-hmm.
gotten life-changing money.
Nope.
And at that point,
Totally fair. Yeah.
your legacy is just about leaving things on the best note possible. And to go do this like weird Atlanta Falcons experiment that totally flopped
Mm-hmm.
and everyone thought it could flop. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
just maybe you're willing to move on, but for me, like if Carson Wentz was like telling people, "Hey, I'm ready to go back to Philly." No, no thanks. We're done. You ditched us. You told everyone that you wanted to leave. You gave up on the team. I'm sorry. We just
That also is a little bit different story than I think the Kirk situation. Now I hear what you're saying with the
I,
money, but that's why I'm
yeah,
saying this offseason, if he's cut, he's only going to probably be making like $5 to $8 million total for a 1 year
sure.
deal. That's why it just makes too much sense. Now, if he's trying to get a 3 year deal where he's starting making $40 million, oh, again, bad word, no. But for 1 year backup for about 5 to 8 million, yeah, I would love to have Kirk Cousins on the team because he could step in and win a game whenever McCarthy got hurt. Because another stat I'll share with McCarthy, this wasn't as big as the other two, but he was 6-4 as a starter. Minnesota went 9-8. We had 4 losses whenever McCarthy wasn't in. If Kirk is in on those games and flips
Yeah.
just one of those games to a win, which he's
Hmm.
absolutely capable of doing, Minnesota's in the playoffs instead of Green Bay.
That's fair.
But that's 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 the main thing I'm getting at is he could step in and win a game. I don't want him starting. I don't want him making a ton of money, but I'm wanting him to be insurance in case McCarthy gets hurt, which the track record shows McCarthy gets hurt. So
See, for me, I know it costs a little more, but the Malik Willis option is super intriguing.
I I hear you. I just think the market's going to be too much for him because he's a young guy that showed really good, and someone's going to overpay.
I just who wants him though? Like that's the part I can't see in my head. Who would want
There's a
him?
ton of teams that want quarterbacks right now. The Jets are always really dumb in quarterback, and if Malik Willis gets offered like a $40 million a year contract from the Jets, is he going to say no? Even though you were playing for the Jets and you're going to be losing all the time, getting good money,
You're
is
gonna
he going to
hate
say
your
no?
life.
Right. But what I think is going to happen with Malik Willis is I think that the Dolphins are going to get rid of Tua and bring in Malik
Oh,
Willis
that's a great option.
because Green Bay has some coaches that went over there
Yeah.
to the Dolphins. So that's just what I'm thinking because it's a new regime. Cut ties with Tua, bring in Malik
Well, I've
Willis.
got I've got another option for you
Sure.
for Willis, and this depends on the market. But if the Eagles decide to move on from Tanner McKee, with Sean Mannion going to Philly, I could see him going to Philly to be a
That
backup
makes
at
sense.
a
Yeah.
premium price.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I'm afraid there's desperate teams that are really quarterback desperate, and there's only one legit quarterback in this draft. Someone I feel like is going to overpay for Malik Willis. It's going to be just like that Brock Osweiler thing back like what a decade ago when he played
Oh, to the
fairly well.
Texans,
Yeah, when
or
he played, I think that's right actually.
yeah, he went to the
Wh-
Texans and then he was
Yeah,
traded to the Browns. Does it as
yeah,
a
when he played
salary
fairly
dump?
well for the Broncos for like maybe 4 games, and people were like, "Whoa, this guy is the next big thing," and they had that trade for him, and he was not that good. I'm not saying Malik Willis is not going to be that good. I have faith in Malik Willis because he's got dual threat thing. He's got some talent, but I just think someone's going to overpay because of a couple game sample size.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I understand what you're saying about um I mean, I don't know. I struggle, man, with thinking about Kirk Cousins. I do hear what you're saying. Reliability factor, I can appreciate
Hmm.
that. Can I get to my hot take now?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this.
Okay. We just talked about how bad the quarterback market is,
Hmm.
right? The
Hmm.
Seattle Seahawks should trade Sam Darnold right now at the highest value with how bad the market is.
Interesting. Who do you think going back to the Jets?
I think that there's a lot of options for him because the fact there is not a market. He just won a Super Bowl. I think you could get maybe even a first round pick.
Oh, well, I would assume you'll get a first and some extra, like a first and a second, or about a first and
Yeah,
next
it
year's
would be it
third.
would be no higher than a Carson Wentz trade to me. Like a first and third. It would not be a Matt Stafford or Russell Wilson. That is not the bag you'd get, but you could get a Wentz
I
type return.
Possibly, but I don't know. I fear that there's going to be a little bit more overpay because the title of a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
I guess that's fair. I don't know. To me, I think it's far more likely Sam Darnold regresses and does not play as good as you think he should. So
Hmm.
therefore, why not trade him now? He's on a good deal now for the
Hmm.
team that takes him. Get out of the contract, start looking ahead, get draft capital. That's what I would do if I'm Seattle. Thank you, Sam Darnold, for the Super Bowl. Appreciate everything you did and your
Hmm.
contributions. We are trading you to the Dolphins, the Saints, whoever it is,
Hmm.
the Raiders. I don't know. I'm just saying it's possible. I think that's unlikely because of Mendoza. So I'd have to think about it harder as far as where I think he'll actually end up. But um, I could see those options potential. The Titans could be a team that makes sense.
What
Um,
about this? If you're thinking this high speculation, which I will just say I don't think that's going to happen, but I love where you're coming from. I love this hot take speculation stuff. What if, because Matt Ryan is now over with the Falcons and he says that Penix is not going to just be handed the job. What if they just trade their quarterbacks? Sam Darnold, Michael Penix straight up. So Michael Penix goes to the Seahawks, Sam Darnold goes to the Falcons.
I wouldn't take that trade.
Which
I,
side do you think loses that?
definitely the Seahawks.
I would agree with that. But okay, maybe Michael Penix and a two.
Michael Penix and a one and more. The only
Oh
thing that
wow,
would
you're
do is
you're that out on Penix. Okay, I didn't
I
know you
would
were that out on him.
maybe you move to a sixth, like a first and a sixth in Penix, so you don't have to give up the third round pick anymore. Or maybe it's a second and a third with Penix, so you don't have to give up a first. No. I mean, listen, I was never on the Penix train, and
Yeah,
Penix has
yeah.
continually played worse than he should have. He was
Mm-hmm.
too high of a draft pick. If he was a second round pick, it really does it plays such a huge factor, man. Where you are plays such a huge factor in the type of player you
Yeah.
can become. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, yeah, I'm sure it sucked being drafted in the seventh round, but the expectations were so low that
Mm-hmm.
it made it possible for him to grow and develop without like so much pressure. Why isn't he developing?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? Why isn't he as good as these other quarterbacks are looking as far as in their initial starts? Like,
Sam Darnold felt that same thing in the Jets. That was the Sam Darnold narrative.
yeah, I mean, so we'll see what happens.
That's fair.
I,
Yeah.
I, I mean that Vikings Falcons game, like Penix looked horrible.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least three other games I could like go through and did not look good. I mean, sure, I guess you could say the Falcons Bills game, like, okay, that was a decent showing by Penix, but yeah, man, I'm out on Penix.
Yeah. I've never been fully sold either on the games I've watched, but and he gets hurt a lot too.
I could see Cam Ward for Sam Darnold, and then maybe there's some draft capital added in there. Like that to me would make sense if you're looking for if Salah wants a more proven,
Mm-hmm.
reliable, capable quarterback and isn't sold on Ward. I don't think that'll happen, but I could see that to me would seem more of a equitable trade. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's value in Cam Ward, and Cam Ward's just in a bad cast. So let's see how he can develop. But if you're solid, you're trying to like figure things out and prove yourself right now. I could see yourself talking into that. I don't think it'll happen, but that trade feels more likely than a Penix Darnold trade, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. And again, I love this conversation, but I really don't see the Seahawks trading Sam Darnold right now.
I think it's the best choice, man. I do.
Yeah.
I yeah, I struggle seeing this working out well for him. Most quarterbacks will not play as good as in their Super Bowl years. Like there's going to be a little bit of regression.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already talked about Sam Darnold having interception issues. You lose your
Mm-hmm.
offensive coordinator. If Sam Darnold's going to stick around and he's going to be the quarterback in Seattle, something has to change. There has to be another variable changed in order to make that system work. That's,
Yeah.
again, that's my take.
Yeah. That's totally fair. Totally fair. I wonder, I was thinking about this when you were talking, if the Sam Darnold trade makes sense, what would you say to a certain team that was 8-2 at one point, lost their quarterback a few weeks later, and this quarterback probably won't come back till October, November timeframe,
Hmm.
and he's not even signed on the team right now because they signed him to a 1 year deal. Now they don't have much draft capital because they traded it for a different player during the season to try to right the ship, and it didn't quite work. But they have overall a fairly good team in a division that's competitive but winnable. Can you guess what team I'm talking about?
The Colts.
Yes. What if there's a Sam Darnold trade to the Colts? Now, I don't know what the Colts would give up because, again, they don't have a first round pick, so they use that for
It'd
Sauce
have to be
Gardner.
like two second round picks. It,
What
it,
if, what if this? What if it's a second round this year, a second round next year, and Anthony Richardson for Sam Darnold?
that sounds like a trade compensation type of trade. Like that sounds like one that I could see discussions happening and ultimately they pull the gun. Um, the part that'd be nice for the Colts is the financial side pencils a lot easier than trying to re-sign Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and especially because Daniel Jones is going to be recovering until October probably. So they need something. They don't have anybody in that room because they're not going to start Richardson. They don't believe in him at all.
If you're the Colts, why would you re-sign Daniel Jones unless it's for like franchise tag?
They're probably just revisionist history, remembering we were 8-2 with this guy. He can get back and bring us back to glory, even though us sane-minded people don't believe in that at all. They probably do. So that's probably why they re-sign him
That's insane,
because
man,
they
if they
were
do
eight and
that.
two.
Because that scenario you just talked about makes far more sense. That one I could truly see happening. I could see it coming together, and it would make sense, I think, for both sides. Because Jalen Moreau could step in as the number one quarterback in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Richardson could come in as like the recovering, improving number two quarterback that used to be a high number or high first round pick. Darnold goes
Mm-hmm.
to Indianapolis and starts again and can prove again that he's a good quarterback and still has his 2 year contract left.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a ton of sense, man. I actually think that might be the smartest move for both sides.
But I still come back to you just won a Super Bowl, so why are you blowing it up? I
Because it's obvious that this guy is not the future. Dude, I'm
hmm
telling you, this is
Oh,
not the
I
guy.
believe you as well. I just don't think the team that just got the trophy believes that because he made a few plays that helped them win at least. So why change? Why fix what's not broken? Kind of thing. That's the mindset they probably have.
Yeah, I see that. I just like, going back to when the Eagles won with Foles, I still stand by that it made complete sense to trade Wentz and make Foles the starter. I would have loved to see what that path looked like. I don't know how long the window would have lasted,
Hmm.
but that marriage, it just felt like it was on track for not working.
Hmm.
Um, like that part feels realistic because Foles goes off, has an amazing like 2 game postseason sample and gets the Eagles a Super Bowl ring, and then follows it up with another champ or like NFL playoff run the next year, and has two really good, I'd say, competitive games against the Bears and the Saints. Like that felt realistic. That felt like you could justify a path forward. I just don't feel that with Sam Darnold. Like it's very tough for me
Hmm.
to think this is a guy that's going to just step up and go to the next level and become the quarterback we have not seen ever. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of see Sam Darnold is who Sam Darnold's going to be, and
Yeah.
that's going to be a strong quarterback with a really strong arm that can move the ball downfield, great deep ball, but struggle in the red zone, struggle with turnovers, and if there's pressure in his face, usually he struggles. Now, he played well against the Patriots, give him credit on that, but when there's pressure at the middle, that's normally when he struggles the most. So I just think, as um, the late and great Danny Green would say, he is who we thought he was.
Yeah, man, that's such a funny clip. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just think if I'm
Yeah,
Seattle, if I'm the
that's
GM,
interesting.
Schneider, you have to think about that scenario.
I mean, he just did that last year because Geno Smith
Yes,
won a lot of
yes,
good games with them for a few years,
yeah.
and they
And
were
I thought he was
that short of
crazy.
the playoffs. And they trade what they got a second round pick back for him, I think.
I think it was a third.
Third, okay, yeah, and they, but that made sort of sense because Pete Carroll was probably calling because he just got the job with the Raiders. But yeah, they just did that and they got a Super Bowl for it. So I do hear you're saying. I do hear you're saying that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have any other speculatory hot takes that you're wanting to share?
Um, I'll say this. I don't know if AJ Brown's going to leave. It feels very hard to know, but I
Hmm.
think that the team that people should be more aware of being a candidate is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, they have not had a legit one receiver for forever, I think.
Yeah, I can't think of a time that they've had a number one receiver
They've had
since Steve
some
Smith.
talent.
Steve Smith was honestly a really good wide receiver for him when he left the Carolina Panthers. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if he was number one back then. That's tough to say, but he definitely was a really good. I mean, Zay Flowers has his moments.
Hmm. He's a really good two. That's where I see Zay Flowers as a really good two, but I don't
He
think he can be a one.
he could be a 1B, like like a 2+ type thing, right?
Hmm.
But I don't know if
Hmm.
he has the full capability to be a true number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because he's kind of a slot guy and
well, I
slot.
mean, maybe that's what happens is you trade Zay Flowers for AJ Brown. Possible, maybe. No, it's probably just AJ Brown.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense for the Eagles because Zay Flowers would be right in line with Devontae Smith. I think
Devontae
Devontae Smith
Smith.
is more of a boundary than Zay Flowers is, but their builds are very similar. Those slight, skinnier guys, you want to have a mix of the skinny and the big dominant.
What about Bateman?
Are you saying included in the trade?
Yeah. Bateman coming back to Philly. They send AJ Brown and then maybe get some draft capital.
There would have to be some draft capital exchange. There have to be like
Oh yeah,
either
it's not going to be just
a
Rashad
one or
Bateman.
like a 2 and 3 or something like that, and then Bateman because I don't know if Bateman's value right now because he's fine, but it's not like his stats have been great every single year. So I would say if it's Brown to the Ravens for Bateman, it needs to be Bateman and like a two and then next year's three kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in my thought process. I I, I don't know. I'm definitely concerned that AJ Brown will not be
Yeah,
back next year.
yeah.
Here
I think it makes sense for the Bills. Trade them to the
I
Bills, get their first round pick, just
mhm.
straight up.
I hear you on the Bills front. I just think if I'm Brown and the options are Bills and Ravens, I would want the Ravens. I have more confidence that this is going to work out for the Ravens than this is going to work out for the
I'd
Bills.
want the Bills because I think Josh Allen is a much more complete quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
I hear you. I just organizationally, I think that the Bills are a mess.
That's not a wrong statement.
So I just if listen, if Josh Allen had the Ravens organization, they would have won a Super Bowl by now. I really do believe that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
I have stood by my statement that I felt like Lamar Jackson had a role. I just want to clarify a role. I'm not saying the role, but a role in the Ravens not making it to the Super Bowl. And
Hmm.
I think if Josh Allen switched roles with Jackson, he would have won a Super Bowl with John Harbaugh. I totally think that that would have happened.
Yeah.
Um, but I just have no faith in the Bills right now, man. They have mismanaged their
Hmm.
resources, blaming their coach on the way things panned out with Keon Coleman was not only weak but pathetic.
Hmm.
Um, And to make the GM now the president of the team, what are we doing, man? Like
Hmm.
it's unreal what some of these GMs could pull off. Like the Giants. Why is he still in New York? What are we doing? He has proven nothing. Like I can't even
Yeah.
really. I guess this draft from last year, maybe there's a little bit of hope. Uh, I would say thank you
Yeah.
and goodbye. Like, go get someone else to handle the draft because he mismanaged the Saquon Barkley situation. He
Hmm.
mismanaged the Daniel Jones signing. He's mismanaged several other free agent signings. I can't think of many good or draft picks outside of them. I guess neighbors, but it's like you don't deserve credit for drafting someone really, really high.
Yeah.
Like
I think he was drafted number 6 overall or something.
that's
Yeah.
such an easy job. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. To me,
You get credit for your drafts in the second rounds and later. First
absolutely.
round, first round, if you draft a stud, no credit. If you get a bust, you get blamed big time. And that's totally fair for the first round. The
Well,
rest of the
and I would
draft, you should get credit if you find some gems.
I'll add a qualifier. If it's after the pick 20, if it's after 20, I think you can
Mm.
take a slight credit, right? Like a little bit more credit because
Hmm.
it is harder to find good talent at the end of the first round. I'm not saying that that's
Yeah.
totally true, but I think there's a little bit of a okay, like you deserve a little bit of credit. Whereas if
Mm.
it's in the top 20 prospects should be pretty easy to figure out. There's a pretty
Yeah.
big disparity.
Hmm. Now, what about this? Speaking of outside the top 20, how do you feel about AJ Brown for the Patriots 31 overall pick? Just straight up.
No, no, it's not
Why no?
enough.
You
It's just
don't
not
think
enough.
a first round pick, the 31 overall, is enough for AJ Brown?
No.
What would you say is enough value if you're
Uh,
going Patriot side?
I would rather get a 3 and a 4 with something else. I just think one
So
pick is,
you're wanting a player and then a couple draft picks?
well, it's not just a player, it's just it's hard to turn that 31st pick into something valuable. It's a really tricky spot. It's typically hard to get the value you want. Like,
Well, there's like three really good receivers in the first round of this draft, so you can combine the 31 with your what you have 25. Is that what you have?
see, but the part that I'm not a fan of is that why would you give up that player and then take
Hmm.
two first round picks to
Yeah,
hopefully
that's
get the
fair.
same player? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, and then if the option was from the Patriots, hey, we'll either give you the first round pick this year or we'll give you a future first round pick and a third round pick this year. Give me the future first round pick
Oh, yeah, 100% there. Yeah. Yeah.
and
I hear you on
I
that one.
I think that some people would rather that. They would rather the draft pick now and we'll give up later. And I would rather do that if I'm the Eagles. Like the Hassan
Hmm.
Reddick trade. When the Eagles traded Hassan Reddick, I think a lot of people are like, this team's so dumb. What are they doing? They got a third round pick from 3 years from now. Like this isn't going to work out. But fast forward, now they're going to have like one of the top five for third round picks because they were patient and willing to
Hmm.
take the value that matched the player. So that's my advice to the Eagles. Take the value that matches AJ Brown. Don't take the convenient offer.
Yeah.
That to me sounds like a convenient offer. Now listen, if it was
Hmm.
like the 15th pick in the draft in the first round, that to me sounds like a fair straight up trade.
What's Brown's contract? Is he under contract for like 2 more years or what is
I
it?
think it's 3 more years.
3 more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, I mean, the Eagles would take a bath when it comes to the amount of cap that they would lose. It would be bad.
Hmm.
They could do
Yeah.
it. They've done it before. It's just not ideal. So,
Yeah. And that's another reason why the draft compensation has to be greater because you guys are taking such a big hit on the financial side, unless the other team takes that money with them, which that could
but I
be
don't think they can
written
because
in
of the
the.
way the guarantees work.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they can unless AJ Brown's willing to renegotiate the contract and they could do something. But those are super
Hmm.
rare that those happen.
Yeah,
And
for
they take
sure.
a lot
For
extra
sure.
work. I mean, I'm not against a trade. It has to make sense. And to me, the Patriots'
For
31st
sure.
pick doesn't move the needle for me very much. Now, the
Hmm.
Ravens should be like the 19th or 21st pick, right? And so,
I think they're higher because they missed the playoffs. I know that the Vikings have the highest non-playoff pick at 18. I think the Lions have 17, so they might have 16.
see, to me, that sounds like that would make
Hmm.
sense. They're 14. Oh
They're
man.
14.
See,
Oh,
like
that's even spicier.
that feels like
Hmm.
that would make sense. If the
Hmm.
Ravens come calling, offer the first round pick, yes, I think that you would take that offer. If you can't get things to work out with AJ Brown.
Yeah.
So,
And of course, that's the number one ideal is figure out what's going on, get him his head right, bring it back. You're
well,
still a great
and I
receiver.
did want to share some actually real quick. I know we're getting long on this episode, so I'll try to
Oh,
keep
you're
this
good.
brief. But I did hear something that I thought was interesting. There are multiple reports coming out from Philadelphia that Jalen Hurts had minimal involvement in this coaching search. And I think that's probably for the best
Mm-hmm.
because if if Devontae Smith, or oh my goodness, if Jalen Hurts had too much say in the offense, then one of the best counters to that is go get someone that's completely outside of his green. Like that's not
Hmm.
part of the routine of what he's used to. And
Hmm.
so I think that's for the best if that's really what happened. So I am hopeful that this is a good sign of what's to come for the Eagles. The offensive line coach situation's surprising. I'm surprised we took y'all's coach. That one is like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what they're seeing, but what do I know?
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Cooper, everyone loves him. Like he is a player's coach. Like every person I heard talking after he wasn't fired. He just wasn't extended his
Retained.
contract. His contract just expired. Um, every player was sad to see him go. They loved him, but you have to take into account how the O line looked. I know there was injuries,
Yeah.
but there's always injuries. There's always injuries. You have to have your backups ready to go, and backups were not ready to go. And his analytics stats going the 4 years he was with Minnesota were just
It's like
not the
all
best.
mid-range. Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
we'll
I
see.
don't know. That's the one part of this offseason. I'm like, ugh. Like that's not.
Hmm.
It's tough, man. Growth is change is hard. Change is really tough, and
Yeah,
we're not going to get a good sense of things. And the way I think the Eagles are just looking at this is on Nick. If it doesn't work out this year, we will turn the page, and we're going to help change things a little bit. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens.
yeah. I would say that if for both our teams, if the Eagles and the Vikings struggle this year, both those coaches are on the hot seat.
I think that's absolutely true.
I don't
So
think going into the season that both coaches are on the hot seat, so to speak. There's some warmth there. There's some like, turn the
there's
heater
tension.
on. Yeah. But I don't think it's hot seat like, hey, you're about to be fired. I don't think that's yet. I think if this season doesn't go well, then okay, you're close. Get things fixed or you're out of here kind of thing.
I think that maybe O'Connell's is a little hotter because of the fact that Kwesi got
Probably.
fired.
Yeah, probably because now it's all on him because I mean, anyone who can see anything can see that this interim GM is not making the decisions.
Hmm.
This is Kevin O'Connell making the decisions this offseason. So if things don't get turned around this offseason, yeah, he's in a little trouble. He's a little hot water. Now, the owners love him. That's the reason why I don't think he's on the hot seat yet, because the owners love Kevin O'Connell. They trust him. But it's definitely starting to stir a little bit because,
Hmm.
like you said, Quasey was the first one on the chopping block. All right, KOC, it's your show. You got to fix this. If he doesn't fix it, he's in trouble. But I think they're going to give him this year as opposed to if we're starting out slow, you're gone. I don't think it's that. I think it's at the end of the year, if we struggled, you're gone kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. Oh man, that's all for the thoughts for me for this episode. I enjoyed digging into looking ahead though.
Oh, oh yeah, there's gonna be so much off-season speculation we're gonna do. I mean, we could even have an episode of us just talking about both our teams' financials and see what moves they can make to have some more cap space, or for like my side to be cap compliant because we're $40 million under right now, which honestly that's not a lot. That's like two moves, boom, you're good. So we can have that conversation. We can talk about the draft, talk about the combine, talk about free agency. There's A lot of fun times ahead.
Yep.
This is like Christmas to me.
Yep. Agreed.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us this week in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next time.
We'll see everybody.